But your sort of breakdown of the game, how did United start the way that they did and end up the way that they did?
No, I mean, doesn't matter what game you play in the Premier League, the first 5, 10, 15 minutes is always going to be quite even. You know, everybody's got the same level of energy, and you come in, you have, you know, the words of the manager fresh in your mind. So you come in and you do exactly what you've been told to do. And then, of course, things are happening in the game. You might be a little bit fatigued after that, tired, you've had a few runs, and some of what you're supposed to do, you forget that. And little mistakes creeps in, and, you know, it doesn't take much to sort of turn the momentum over to a classy team like Manchester City. And I think that happened today.
We felt, Peter, that the penalty was almost a turning point, that United seemed to lose all sort of belief and confidence in their game plan once that penalty went in.
It was, I mean, I don't know if you had a monitor where you were sat, but I didn't. And I was very, very surprised by seeing the referee all of a sudden going over to the screen, because not a single player had reacted to anything. You know, we thought there'd been an off the ball incident somewhere, and he was going to check for a red card or something like that. And then I look up to the scoreboard and it says checking for a penalty, and I'm like, oh,
we were the same, weren't we?
Know,
we were looking at penalty for what?
Exactly. And you know, if you give penalties for that, then when is that going to stop? When are you going to stop giving penalties? And I'm quite disappointed with Michael Oliver, who's the VAR, because if you go back 2 weeks to Arsenal when they played Man City, and you know, he was kind of letting the game play on a little bit with Kovacic, didn't give him the second yellow. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where he actually should have sent him off. He didn't want to so he was trying to take sort of a lenient line. And today, he's calling the referee over to the screen to show him that. I thought it was a little bit too soft. At the end of the day, it wasn't what was the difference between Man United and Man City, because Man City just played Man United off the pitch. There's no doubt about the result. It would have been 2 or 3 anyway, but it was a little bit of a cheap beginning, the first goal.
Was it a result that was actually coming, really? Because even though they won against Copenhagen, they won against Sheffield United, narrow wins, terrible performances, was this something that should have been expected? And where can United go from here?
You never expect anything like that. You know, you always start afresh. You know, there was for a long time, there was a little bit of momentum going into this game for Man United. It's the 3 wins on the chart. And of course, what happened in the 96 minutes on Tuesday night here with the Onana penalty save, there was something very, very positive to take into this game. And they all talked about that after the game on Tuesday as well. So you don't expect it to be outplayed in the way you do. You know you're going to have a difficult game against Man City because they are a great team. You know that. But at the end of the game, it was a little bit too easy for Man City. I'd say Ten Hag, I've just listened into an interview now with him. He says he felt the team played really well in the first half. So playing well or playing to the tactics, I don't really know what he means, but he might just have played to the tactics in the second half. It was just a class of 2 different teams. And Man City are playing really, really well, and felt like whenever they wanted to keep the ball, they kept the ball. And United could get nowhere near it.
We said that their movement is exceptional. The way they keep the ball is exceptional. They're always a threat. Yeah. Man United never really looked a threat in the final third. You're looking at it going, maybe half a chance,
yeah,
but they never really looked confident, or there was belief that they were going to actually score goals today.
No, it's a big difference in the way that the 2 teams plays. So Man City, every time they have the ball, they create outnumbered situations. So there will always be one more player in every area. So there's always one more station to pass the ball to. And it just, I mean, sometimes you just think all they do when they train is the boxers. You know, it just looks like a game of boxers.
We said John Stones was playing right wing at one point. Yeah. Bernardo Silva was playing centre half. They're all over the pitch.
They're so flexible, aren't they?
And their work rate is phenomenal to be able to do that. And their desire to keep pressing right to the very, very end.
And you know where it comes from, but when you're this close to the dugout, you can see Pep, the way he works the team. So we're in the 88th minute, I think, and United get a throw in right in front of him, and Phil Foden's not back yet, and he's screaming at him, "Get back, get back!" And
he's like more vocal than you were.
Yeah. And it works. You know? But you know, standards, they always come from your leader, and he obviously You know, he's a great leader. He's a great manager, and you can see that it's reflected in his team. They work so hard.
Yeah.
We touched on that earlier. Do you think Man United have enough leaders?
No, I don't think so. I think it's, in all fairness, I think it's a rarity in football. There aren't when I played, when you guys played, there were more leaders. The United team you played in was full of leaders as well. And I think it's a lot of things. It's also a generational thing. But, you know, Pep very, very clearly enjoys working with big characters. So he's not afraid of people with an opinion, people who can challenge him. And you know, that's leadership. You know, you want that. So a lot of coaches nowadays, they're a little bit afraid of that because they think, okay, we're going to do it my way because I know I'm going to be out of a job in, 18 months, 2 months, 2 years. So if I lose my job, at least I lost it my way, not with interference from you know, another, you know, a lot of different opinions. But I mean, this Manchester City team, which is in rebuild as well, you know. You know, there's no Kevin De Bruyne, there's no Mahrez, there's no Gundogan. Playing so well, aren't they?
It's just really sad because obviously Thomas here has won Premier League medals with Manchester United. You've been there with the treble as well under Manchester United. And United now have lost as many games at Old Trafford in the past 10 years than they have the entire time that Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge, really. And you talk about the players playing for Pep. You talk about the players understanding what Pep wants and delivering. Do you think the players are playing for Ten Hag at the moment?
Well, I think because of the shift in the way that he wants the team to play, it's a lot of things that at different levels they have to get through. First of all, he's coming in, he hasn't got the players that he wants to have in order to play this system. For instance, we talked about Onana. So we saw a little bit of Onana today out sort of halfway up the pitch trying to drive the game from there. That's part of how Ten Hag wants to play. But it's very clear that half the team is not sort of tuned into that yet. It takes time. It takes, you know, for Pep it took some time as well. You know, Pep is working the way Pep's always worked. He did it with Barcelona, built a really, really good team. He built it. He went to Bayern Munich, and it was a little bit of a different thing for him at Bayern Munich. He never really got it over the line in terms of Europe, which is, you know, they always win the Bundesliga, don't they? And he came in here, and it took him some time to get into the way that he wants to play now. And where he's very clever is he adds little things. John Stone, for instance, playing midfield every time. I mean, he was playing centre-half today, so every time they had the ball, he went into midfield. And you said,
what would you have said if your centre-halves were playing where John Stones was playing?
Yeah, exactly. but it's part of the play, isn't it? So they do it. They train, and you can see. And I was actually sat with Brian Kidd today, who's worked closely with Pep at Manchester City, and he says he's doing everything himself. So everything he wants in that team, he's doing that himself. So there is a very, very clear way he wants them to play, and clarity. We know this as player. If you know what your job is, it's not that difficult to be a footballer. But and I think at Man United at the moment, they're in between a lot of things.
The fans are starting to turn on Ten Hag, though. That's the only issue.
I hope not.
Just a little bit. I mean, do you think he has a future, Ten Hag? Do you think he will be given a future in time?
I can tell you that he definitely has a future.
Right, then Danny?
Oh,
yes?
I think when you look at what he's done in the past, he improves individuals. Yeah. But it takes time to improve those individuals. And then once you improve the individuals, then you can start to improve the team. But it's not the most patient club for that, because the fans want success tomorrow. And when you've got your rivals across the road being so fantastic and winning trebles, when you're used to doing it, it's tough. But yeah, I would stick with him without a doubt.
Tom, yes, no, stick with Ten Hag?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.